Hey guys, Mutant XP, back on the stream. Welcome to the world premiere of 3S Night School with the host Daisuke from Japan, Ryu player. We also have Nox in the house. You'll get to see him shortly as we break down some footage of his matches from last night. But first and foremost, thanks guys for joining us tonight on the stream. This is a brand new idea, and hopefully we think it has some potential, Daisuke.
Yeah.
And so this is basically 3S Night School, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about the show, but basically the point of the show is to try and connect newer, younger players with Third Strike veterans and bring them together to watch footage of the newer players' matches, and have the 3S veterans give some of these newer players some pointers and some advice, all in an effort to try and get these players to the place where they want to be and to improve. And so Daisuke, tell us a little bit about how this sort of developed and the genesis of this show, and just this idea in general of teaching the new generation of Third Strike players.
Yeah. That's the, by the way, hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for watching. So as you said, basically, our ultimate goal is we want to, teach new players, and then also already, good players, right? Both. But, so it's a kind of a long story, but in short, around the New Year's Day, I was in Japan, right? Mm-hmm. Visiting my hometown and seeing my family, and I didn't have so many chances to play Third Strike in Japan. But one thing I found out was my boys, they are very young guys, but they got so much better than when I was in Japan, right, last year. Wow. So which means in just 8 months or 7 months, they got so improved, and then actually one of them are trying to kill me, when I played. Because I felt that, oh my god, this boy is trying to beat me right now. He's serious, but can you really think, you can do that? I was, kind of, upset, but of course I won. But anyways, he's getting so much better in 7 months or 8 months. And then I thought, well, in Japan, people can play every day, every night in the same place. No online shit, right? I don't blame online games, but all offline games every night, and then top players can teach younger players, and then there's a very, very healthy ecosystem, right? Mm-hmm. And then so when I got back to New York, I was like, we have so many new players, Whenever I enter the tournament, there are so many new players, and also already good players veterans, right? But to me it seems like we can't have enough communication compared to Japan. There are so many restrictions, right? We are trying our best, but I didn't think it was enough. So that's a kind of starting point of this project, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guys, and so like I said. Like we talked about, the whole point of this show is to try to give, newer players, and really anybody, an opportunity, to kind of sit down with someone who's extremely knowledgeable about the game, and sort of just break down some footage, get some advice, try to improve. Just to give you guys a bit of a preview of how each show is structured. And so basically each episode of 3S Night School consists of 3 segments. And so the first segment, Daisuke will be breaking down the gameplay of a Third Strike player. In the case of tonight, it will be it'll be Nox, who's actually here in the House of XP, I guess we could call it.
House of XP.
House of XP. Then we'll take a short break, and then we'll come back with a second segment where where a completely new, quote unquote, I guess we could say pupil or student or guest will sit down with another Third Strike veteran. And so for those of you who are wondering, after Daisuke breaks down footage of Nox's matches, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and Renic from Arizona longtime Alex player, cut his teeth with the Family Fun crew. He'll be coming on the show to break down footage of a up-and-coming Detroit, Michigan Urien player by the name of Crime Alley. And so that'll be the second segment. We'll take another break, and then in the third segment, Tai and Daisuke, the two teachers, if you will have a conversation and talk a little bit about the advice that they gave to both students. And so that's basically how the show is going to be organized for now. We might add some things. Throughout the course of the show. It's the first episode. Obviously we want to get your feedback in the chat. We were thinking maybe of adding maybe a Q&A. Maybe people on the stream want to ask Daisuke some specific questions, or want to ask the guest teacher that week any specific questions. But the one thing that I'm really excited about, and my apologies, the form is not up yet, but it will be up soon, is one of the keys to this show is that we want to make sure that it's open to everyone. And so basically, sometime next week, we're going to create a form where anyone can, apply, I guess, to be on the show. And so if you want to come on the show, and if you're interested in sitting down, quote unquote, sitting down with a 3S veteran and breaking down footage of your match, you can, sign up for the form. And if you're selected to be on the show, the Jazzy Circuit will, cover your entry fee for your next Jazzy tournament of your choice. And so, we're really trying to kind of encourage players to get better. Because Daisuke, and I don't want to talk too much about this, but Daisuke, obviously, the importance of, it's one thing to get people to try Third Strike, right? But it's a completely other thing to get people to stick with the game.
Yeah,
sure. And I think one of the keys to encouraging people to stick with the game is at least letting players know that there are avenues for them to get better. And not only that, but, kind of showing the scene that there are people like yourself that are willing to spend your time and your effort to try and make other players better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much that. Did you want to say anything else before we get started?
Not really, but as you said, we want to associate this program with Jazzy Circuit itself. So basically, maybe we should talk about the footage, because we're gonna use the footage from the any of Jazzy events down the line, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So if you want to join the show or help us out, maybe you can submit the your contact and also your footage from the Jazzy event, and then that way you can get some incentives, right?
And also, obviously, different scenes operate in different ways, but if you do have an interest in coming on the show, and that you're going to enter a future Jazzy event, maybe talk to the TO, talk to the streamer, and maybe ask them, hey, is it okay if I can get my match on stream? That way I can kind of, look back on it and break it down if in the event I want to come back, if I want to come on the show. And obviously the Jazzy Circuit will help out with that as well. So I think, since we're kind of a little late tonight, maybe we should just go ahead and get started.
Yep.
And so I'm going to go ahead and step aside and, and I'm going to have Daisuke go ahead and start his lesson with Knox. And obviously Knox is going to talk a little bit about himself. But we're going to go ahead and switch over to that. So just give us a few moments, guys.
All right, so Yeah, thank you for joining today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you're the player from the like New York scene, right?
Right.
And then yeah, actually he is like one of my like very first students because I started my teaching program before starting this show like since January or something.
Yeah, about January.
Right. Yeah, because we have like so many like new good players. I see the potential of them, so I really wanted to like kind of share my knowledge and tactics. So that's the starting point. But could you give us like some background, like of your Third Strike, history or something? So when did you start actually?
So I started playing in May. I had never
last May.
Yeah, last May. I started playing in May, and I had never used the stick before. So I spent most of the entire month just learning how to use the stick, and finally came out to play Third Strike against people that weren't just Ken and Black and my friends who had just started at the same time, sometime in June, which was actually the night that Tenren was there and all that. That was a crazy night for my first big night at Next Level. Left a very good impression on me. Just sitting there and watching everyone play, was the energy in the room was crazy.
Okay. So that's why like you kind of like you were involved in this scene, and then you just wanted to keep playing this game.
Yeah, just seeing that made me want to be there all the time and be one of the guys that got to stay on the cab a little longer than everyone else. And all that.
Okay, got it. So like, do you think like, do you have like any struggle, or when you play, like, what do you want to improve, or like, do you have any objectives or?
I mean, other than just winning outright, right, and being the best, mentality is probably the biggest thing I really want to improve on. I did come from playing Smash. Before this, and that game was more frustrating than I would like to admit sometimes. And I'm trying to work on that with Third Strike, so mentality mostly, and then also just getting better at the game in general.
I see. Yeah, I see that point. Yeah, I think obviously I wouldn't say I'm the best player of this game,
Right.
But I know like some like knowledge. I think knowledge wise I know a lot. Because like there is a very very good website in Japanese, right? Unfortunately, it's in Japanese. So I think all the Japanese top players, they are referring to this website so many times. But we can't do that in English. So that is actually one point I want to share, through this show, right? And then the other thing is I think so tactics or strategy wise. I see like so many players don't know the right answers in any situations,
Right.
which is really problematic because if you don't know the like options or like right answers, actually you are already down before fighting, before playing the game. So that's kind of what I want to share through this show, and that's actually what I have been doing with you guys, right?
Yeah,
so
that's been tremendously helpful, and we've only just gotten started.
Yeah. So maybe let's start like watching your footage first, and then breaking down the footage later.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
So before we begin, Knox, just run us through the footage, just more specifically. Just kind of set the stage for us. What are we looking at? When did this happen? So forth and so on.
This is actually the first tournament match of the day. It got put immediately on stream. I'd only warmed up a little bit. I made sure to get enough sleep the night before.
Okay. No excuse.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, I got it.
Is that lesson number one? No excuses.
No excuses.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Hugo's kind of scary. I don't have a lot of experience versus him, and Kevin, for what it's worth, is not bad at the game.
Yeah, Kevin is a good player. He's very good.
He's very good.
Yeah. He's by the way
surprisingly good, because when he first started showing up to Next Level, he wasn't playing Hugo either. He was playing Ken. And then I guess he just felt like he wanted to be a Hugo main, and yet, if you remember, since that Generals, he just hasn't stopped playing Hugo since then.
Right, right. Yeah, and then like on a separate note, he is also one of those once retired from this game, but restarted after Jazzy or like a co-op or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So he just restarted last year. So yeah. He's, actually I want to teach him too, but anyways, I'm not sure if he wants to.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Daisuke wants all the students.
Yeah. So can we start like watching the footage?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, sure. All right. So let's see the the first match. Unfortunately, it's starts from the beginning.
Unfortunately, I'm already down around.
Yeah. So let's see like 2 or 3 matches first. What the sounds working? Like are they?
Oh, yeah.
So they can hear both.
Yeah, they can hear. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice taunt.
I just really like the her second taunt after Hayate.
Right.
It's just cool. I don't do it to taunt. It's just
Okay. So let's see the whole match first, and then later let's break down.
right. Oh man. There's so many little things that frustrate me.
Okay, so this is the first match. So let's move on to maybe next match. Well, you played also Duke
Yeah,
last
I
night,
also
right?
played Duke
Okay,
in
so
losers.
so you played versus Dudley, right?
Yeah.
So Makoto Dudley.
Hardbread versus Knox.
Yep.
Without like ruining the
Okay, so this is the second match.
you waste the EX bar with SA1, you miss out on the second OP. Miss out on the second OP.
Yo, what's up?
My man Art.
We got Duke and Knox. Knox is a new Makoto player. Came from the Super Smash Brothers world.
Really?
Yo, man, you've been fucking so close every Wednesday.
Yo, dog, like
Some bullshit.
I'm grinding out here.
I can see.
But yo, Sim V Trigger 2 is broken.
Yeah?
No, V Skill 2 is broken actually. Like I've been figuring some shit out.
Ooh, Knox is beautiful.
I'll tell you after this.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, it's been harder, like fighting Sims. Like since like the season like, switched over, it's been fucking hard. I do like that it feels like more neutral.
Yeah.
It feels like there's more neutral going on in
Yeah,
the streets.
yeah, there's a lot of neutral. Thank you, KG, for subscribing, by the way. Much love, bro.
My man, always coming in clutch.
Anyway, nice grab there by Knox.
Now I get that.
Nice switching sides. They're switching sides a lot.
Oh, boy.
I mean, this has to be a 50-50 heavy matchup, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Especially with SA1. Oh, I wouldn't have wasted that, but
He's still gonna get Oki, but Makoto's in the corner, so it's dangerous.
yeah. And the low Oki isn't strong without meter.
Yeah,
That
it is.
sweep
It
is
is
easy
not.
to react to.
Corner pressure. Nice.
Oh, there we go. See, that's what happens. Could have happened the first time, but it's good.
Everybody's looking nice and crispy today.
Very sharp.
Little better. Feet is crisp.
Okay. So we watched 2 matches. So
Do you want to take a look at the Hugo one first?
oh yeah, but before that, I actually want to ask him like, what do you think about the matches, or what you can like improve, or what was like your also like what was your good point from these matches? If you have like, any like thoughts.
As far as the match
Maybe
versus
can you
Hugo
show us?
goes, I do think that I could just generally understand the matchup better overall.
Can you show us?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I was still very unsure of certain things that I should be looking for, and and that impacts what I should be
Oh,
reacting
this is
to.
good. So they can both right now. Yep.
As far as Duke goes, I mean, he's really good. He's already so much better than I am. It's not. I do think that I played well for where I am. And then other than some execution errors, I just need to get better at the game. in general.
I see. But you did like some good things even against Duke, right?
Right.
Right?
There was that one corner sequence that was like probably the best thing I've ever done.
No, it was really good. Yeah. Your offense is getting better, so okay. Okay, so before like moving to the breaking down, so let me just casually explain, what is Makoto, or what is her specifications,
Right.
What is her basics? Maybe it's gonna help like audiences and you understand like what you should do in each situation, right? So I
Even
think
if I intuitively understand some things, just
Right.
hearing it and seeing it would be
right.
a huge difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically, in this like night school, I really want to like highlight the strategy, knowledge, and then also theories, because I can explain some like character specifics, and also I can explain like some specific like counter strategies against each characters. I can do that, but of course I can't explain everything if I try to do that way, right? Because I can play Shoto, I can play, maybe I started playing Makoto, maybe I can explain a little bit, but I don't know how to use like a twins, and I don't know how to use like Alex, so it's kind of impossible for me. And then instead, what I want to do is I want to give you guys some like very important fundamentals of this game, right? Or like how to analyze this game, how to get, like do some deep dive into this game. That is, what I want to do through this show. So it might be too academic or like a theoretical. If you think so, maybe you can move to other Jazzy tournament, going on right now. So it's up to you guys. Okay, so can we show the screen first?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so basically 5 points. Oh, are you showing?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So basically 5 points. Like, what is Makoto, right?
Right.
Okay, so you can maybe read it out. Okay.
So the characteristics of Makoto.
Yeah.
She has the fastest and longest dash, but the slowest walk.
Yup.
Her medium buttons are very slow with
Yep.
8 frames and 9 frames startup. And then, but they do also come with very long plus frames, which
Yep.
is really good. She has nearly the strongest command grab, starting in 8 frames to 10 frames, and I believe that's light kick, medium kick,
Sure,
heavy
sure,
kick,
sure.
right? Having longer than 3 active frames.
Mm-hmm.
Her normal buttons have very strong hitboxes and long active frames.
Yep.
And she has the second fastest backdash.
Yep.
And then finally, Seichusen SA1 is the best 1 meter startup super in the game.
Oh yeah, just to give like you guys some background. So he's like a SA1 Makoto player. So you were like sticking with SA1.
I think so. I think it's so much more fun than I think I would have playing SA2. And then the risk versus reward too is like your execution has to be so good for SA2, and right now my execution is not good at all. I still can't even dash consistently sometimes. So sticking with SA1 is the smartest thing for me to do.
Okay, yeah. And then also again, SA1 is I think best, 1 meter supers in this game. So okay, so let's take a look at like these 5 points. Okay, can you show that? Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So the important thing is like here, like number 1 is kind of obvious, everybody knows, but number 2 is a very important thing. So her light kicks, light punches are like almost like as fast as like Shotos or other characters. So which is okay, but the problem of her medium buttons is, it's so slow. So it's like starts in 8 frames to 9 frame, which is very very slow like compared to other characters.
Right.
We're gonna take a look at frame data actually later, but I can show it. So here is the frame data of her. When we see her medium punch and medium kicks, which is like around the center, right?
Right.
So her like medium punch has a 9 frame startup, and her like a medium kick has a 8 frame startups, right?
Right.
And then here we have like this blonde guy, right? This blonde guy has like a 6 frame startup for his crouch medium punch, which is obviously much faster, right? Yeah. So what's happened is like in a close combat, let's say in an even situation, and then you are in the close combat. Basically, if you push some like a medium buttons, and then opponents push their medium button at the same moment, basically you're gonna lose, right?
Every time.
Right? But of course, like Shotos or like other characters have a really good medium button. So once they are like getting close, like their tactics basically starts from like a medium punches or medium kicks, right?
Right.
And then instead, look at here. So actually, her medium buttons has a so long active frames, right?
Right.
So especially this standing medium punch has 11 frames for active frames. 11, this is ridiculous. Because Ken's crouch medium punch is so strong too, but it has only 4 frames.
Right.
But her medium punch has 11 frames, right? So and then one more thing is advantage. Like on block, standing medium punch has 6 frame plus, right?
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy. So because of like this like a frame advantage, she can do very, very fast, close combat, right? In other words, she needs to open up her offense by herself, right? Because if you start your like close combat in an even situation, basically opponents has some advantage.
Right, because they're all faster.
Yeah, because they're faster. But once you start like you are like a close combat by yourself, which means you're gonna have this 6 frame advantage, or even standing light punch and crouch light punch has 2 or 3, advantages, right?
Right.
So you can like just keep your attacks, and then you can like eventually do some like a mix up.
Right.
Against opponents. So this is like a basic idea or like her strategy. So going back to the point, also she has what's the number 3?
Nearly the strongest command grab, which starts in 8 to 10 frames and has longer than 3 active frames.
Right. So basically in this like slide, number 1 to number 3 are the very like important parts of her like a close combat, right? And then also number 4 and number 5, this is a very different aspect. So basically she has, her normals has a very strong hitbox. And then also as we see, like normal buttons have a so long active frames. Right? And then also number 5, this is kind of, always underestimated thing, but actually her backdash is the second fastest. So front dash is always fast, right?
Right.
Did you know she has a second fastest backdash in this game?
Maybe
Intuitively.
because it's so small, so she's able to just keep backdashing very quickly away from things. But I didn't know that it might have been the second fastest.
Right. So the the fastest backdash is actually Oro's backdash. He's fucking fast, right?
Yeah, he is fast.
He's so annoying character, by the way, right? But also Makoto has a very, very fast backdash.
See how cool of a teacher Daisuke is? He swears.
Yeah.
I like it when teachers swear.
So do I.
Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, what I want to say is like, okay, let's say Oro is a kind of annoying character. But this number 5 means Makoto can be a so annoying character as well, right?
Right.
So let's move to the second slide. So this is the like a basic strategies from her. So number 1 to number 3 makes the first strategy, which is kind of obvious thing. She can do super fast close combat,
Right.
as everybody knows, right? But the one more thing we shouldn't overlook is she can do super lame chicken game, right? She's so good if she wants to,
Just
run away.
Hang out.
Yeah, just hang out, right? I have 11, active frames, Oh, by the way, actually, guys, look at this. This is a jump medium kick. Her jump medium kick has 13 active frames, which is crazy, right? I didn't write down here, but actually her jump light punch has a 21 active frames.
Really?
Yeah.
It makes hit confirming into SA1 very easy.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see this blonde guy's jump roundhouse, which is strong too, but active frame is just 4 frames. So basically, her jump medium kick has like a 3 times longer active frames than Ken's one, right? Which is crazy.
Yeah, that is
So just
insane.
I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, of
Daisuke.
course, please, yeah.
But there are people in the chat that are asking where you're getting your frame data from. Because one of the things is there's a lot of different websites with a lot of
Okay.
frame information. So
That's
where are you getting the frame?
Okay,
data
that's a very good question. So we have a website called Game Restaurant, but this website is actually in Japanese, right?
okay.
And then this was actually my kind of secret project, but it sounds like I have to expose it right now.
Translate.
Yeah, I'm doing a translation project of Game Restaurants right now. And then actually I started this project with Texas players, which is sorry guys, I didn't say I'm gonna talk about this thing, but so my team member is Luke. He also won the tournament last night, which is great. And also we are working with Yuki. So Luke and then Yuki and me are now working on the kind of consolidated one database for like a whole community. But obviously making website is gonna take so long time. But we started this project. We teamed up last weekend or 2 weeks ago, something like that. We just started this project. So like back to your point, I have been referring to Game Restaurant, and maybe you guys can refer to some actually there's some English website, right? But in the future, maybe you're gonna refer to our project, I think, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Hopefully, that'll be very useful.
Yeah, and also I will share important frame data in this show down the line, because obviously tonight we are kind of dissecting Makoto, but in the next show we are gonna do maybe other characters. Even tonight in the second section we are gonna do the other characters. So yeah, we can share maybe so many information through this project. Okay, so anyways, what I wanted to say is she has a really strong lame chicken game. Were you aware of this fact, or you did know this thing intuitively, or what do you think?
I think maybe I understood that she probably could be very lame. It's just me as a player, I just want to run in, push buttons, and hit people really hard. So I never really gave it much thought. But I have tried to force myself to slow down, because I know that she can just get in whenever she wants. And finding the optimal range to do that too is important.
Right.
I've been working on that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's very important because she has a so fast front dash and back dash. She can kind of switch these two strategies, right?
Right.
You can control these two strategies. If you are only sticking with one strategy, you can't win.
Right.
You can't win, right? Because you can be a lame chicken through the whole game, but maybe you can't get any damage, right?
Yeah.
So you have to mix up these two strategies depending on situations. That is her almost basics.
Right, that makes sense.
Okay, so given that, let's go back to the footage and then let's analyze the footage. So we are going back to the match versus Hugo first, right? So this time I'm gonna pause the video if I found out something, and then I will make a comment, right? Okay. So let's start.
I'm ready to be embarrassed in front of everyone.
Yeah, very good. I mean, my Makoto was also kind of embarrassing last night, so I should have won.
Embarrassing in Japan only, maybe.
Yeah, it embarrassed myself. Okay, nice taunt. Okay. Okay, round 3. So by the way, whenever you start round 3, you really have to be aware of the meter situations. Right? Now, Hugo has 2 meters, and then you have 1 meter. So basically, the round 3 will be, most likely a very short, round,
very
right?
explosive.
Very explosive, yeah. And this is a very good, yeah. So in the corner, she has a very terrible defense, right?
Right.
As I said, basically her normals are so slow. So this situation is very bad. And then one thing I want to mention is the best way, right? The best defense from her is, what do you think? What's the best way? Essay, like super, like reversal super, or like, what do you think?
For her,
Yeah.
maybe the opportunity to either dash out under someone's jump or to super jump out.
Yeah.
Probably be the best.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
to escape the corner, maybe blocking is probably the best thing to do when you're trapped there.
Yeah, of course. So maybe your answer is maybe blocking the first attack from the opponents, and then maybe dash under or jump out.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So let's see what you are doing. Maybe you could dash under here if you were aware, right?
Yeah.
But luckily you're switching the position. This is a very good ground game. Can we a little bit go back?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wait, sorry. It's on the volume.
Oh yeah, sorry. A little bit go back. I think here you are doing kind of good ground game, right? You are trying to use Hayate, right?
Right.
You are charging Hayate here, right? And then if you see the opponents like normals,
Right.
whipping,
If you had done this or whatever.
right? It's kind of hard, at the beginning because you have to react to opponents, right? But once you get it, I don't think it's super hard. So this is good. And then one more thing is actually this one. This one is also very strong because this one has a very strong hitbox.
Right. It catches so many things. I've seen it catch so many things.
Right.
Like right here, he just jumped and.
Yeah. Sometimes the very top of this normal can beat opponents' jump attacks. So this is really great. Okay, so go back to the footage. Okay, so now the stamina is almost even, right?
Right.
Very nice reaction. Okay, so this is a turning point. So the situation was so bad for you, right? And then I was thinking, oh, maybe you would lose, right?
Yeah.
But you reacted so well, and then you punished with almost maximum, right?
Right.
Maximum punish, and then now your stamina is even, right? And so in this situation, what do you think you should do?
Play as safe as possible.
Yeah. So what's the more specifically, what's the safest options from her?
From her,
Yeah.
her jump away medium kick is really good. Backdashing and just staying just outside of Hugo's range is probably the only thing that I can think of.
Right. Okay, I think that's correct. And also, what you want to avoid from him, your stamina is 0.
Right.
So, but he's like a regular normals are very very slow.
Right.
Right. So if so, what do you want to be aware of the most?
Well, the fact that he has meter probably.
Oh yeah.
And just something, maybe him doing something very desperate to try and close it out, or a grab is probably the fastest thing.
Right.
Hugo could do.
Okay. So basically, maybe you want to get away from his range, and then because once you get in, maybe his grab or his super is gonna
It's gonna come out and kill me.
Right. So maybe
Which it does.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But so in this situation, I would recommend maybe since Hugo's stamina is 0, right? And then also I don't think a chip out is a good idea here. No. Right. So I would recommend you should do lame chicken strategy here. Let's see.
What do I do?
Yeah, because here you look like you were kinda right? No. This is no offense, but you looked like you had no good idea how to deal with this situation.
Right.
In other words, you didn't have maybe right answers in this situation, right? Or did you have something in your mind and then
the
you
only
were...
thing in my mind was to just like I said, just to try to play safe and try to hit him with a very safe normal, but
Right.
that was about it.
Right. Yep. So if so, I think, since her like a standing medium kick is very long, like longest normal from her, so maybe standing medium kick, or again maybe jump, back jump, medium kick is
Right.
very very safe, right?
Yeah.
So I think, or maybe just pretend to stay the same area, but suddenly dashing and then maybe close light kick or something like that, right?
Right.
That'll work. So again, here, no forward fears. No, maybe it might work, but it's slow, right?
Right.
I wouldn't do that, right? You should choose the like a safest one in this situation, right? And then he's desperately jumping in, right? That's why I said jump, medium kick is so safe in this situation.
Yeah, it would have just hit him.
Right. And then maybe it's almost no risk. It could get parried, but it's almost no risk
Yeah.
in this
Even
situation.
if he gets parried, if I'm jumping backwards, I'm probably still pretty safe.
Right? So I would say maybe front dash and then back jump medium kick is very safe, or like a dashing and then close light kick is very safe too.
Right.
Right? But my point is, how to understand the situation. So in this situation, after you hit this super, stamina is almost same, but you have obviously, better mobility and then almost longer normals, and then also very safe back jump attacks, as opposed to Hugo having a meter, which can kill you if you, allow him to get in, right? So that's why I said like you should do some like a lame strategy sometimes, right? Okay, maybe versus Hugo is enough. Let's go to versus Dudley.
Without like ruining the mix-up after.
Duke.
Because if you waste the X bar with SA1, you miss out on the second Oki. Miss out on the
And
second.
before we get started with the actual analysis, Knox, but how you doing?
I'm alright.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of new, right? Just being the
Yeah.
center of the attention.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Just kind of
I don't know
everyone
if I
kind of
like it.
dissecting your, yeah, right, dissecting your matches.
Yeah.
It can be a little intimidating, right?
It's a little.
At least that's how I would feel.
Yeah, no, it's definitely intimidating. Yeah. But I mean, it's for
So you have to
Yeah, for sure.
it's for good, and like
Yeah.
anyone else that's watching
Yeah,
that
it's been hard.
might have
Fighting Sims.
anything similar
Like the
happen to them or any similar questions, or even play Makoto, they'll be able
I
to
do
learn from
like
it
that
too.
it
So
feels like more neutral.
it's good as far
It
as
feels
I'm
like there's more
concerned.
neutral going on.
Yeah, but I'm worried too. I'm not sure, if this is really like easy understanding or no.
I think you're doing fine, Daisuke.
Yeah.
nice switching sides. They're switching sides a lot.
Boy.
I mean, this has to be a 50-50 heavy matchup, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Especially with SA1.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have wasted that, but
He's still gonna get Oki, but Makoto's in the corner, so it's dangerous.
yeah. And the low Oki isn't strong without meter.
Yeah,
That
it
sweep
is.
is
It is
easy to react to.
corner pressure. Nice.
Oh, there we go. See, that's what happens. Could have happened the first time, but it's good.
Everybody's looking nice and crispy today.
Very sharp.
Little better. Feed is crispy, play is a crispy. What more can you ask for?
One of the crispiest feeds of all time. I mean, look at
Oh.
the pixels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can almost
Oh,
smell
sorry guys, we are messing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Artisan, what's up?
Daisuke, do you
Oh,
want
okay. Actually, you have one more match
Yeah.
Oh,
with Duke. Okay.
I bet you do.
I
Unfortunately,
did
there's
play
no
against
room.
a lot better against him, expected to.
Okay.
Especially because I played him 2 months ago at that month.
I think hard bread's up one.
He ruined my life.
Alright, so
Okay, so let's maybe break down this match. So you started with cross roundhouse.
Right, which is very strong against Dudley.
Yeah, exactly. This is very very strong against Dudley. So maybe I would almost say her maybe main normal, that you wanna use against Dudley is maybe only this one,
Okay.
right? And then maybe occasionally you might be able to use crouch medium kick, but basically maybe the most reliable normal should be this one, right? Because actually it hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It speed out whatever he put out too.
Right. And then from the Dudley's perspective, the only way to beat this one is like using forward fears
Right.
in a maximum range. Because like you know, if
There's no room.
Dudley does it like in this range, in the starting range,
Bet you do.
right? He tried that, but you're gonna win, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, there's no room.
So, but other than that, basically always crouch roundhouse is gonna beat almost all normals from him, and then even it can shut down his jumping as well,
Right.
right?
You want to talk?
I think hard bread's up one.
And then I believe this was Karaksa, right? No?
Here.
You want to talk?
Here, yeah.
I think hard
You
bread's
did
up one.
light punch and then light kick, but this light kick is Karaksa? No? Okay, never mind.
We're
Yeah.
gonna go with that. It was Karaksa. How
Yeah.
about that?
yeah, because like, whenever you like approach the opponents, you want to open up your offense with command grab,
Right.
Because her command grab is very, very strong. I'm gonna dissect her command grab later, but it's very strong. By the way. Okay.
Alright, so
Oh, Daisuke
Knox.
doesn't want to talk.
Like,
So whenever again, so you did dash light punch. Let's do Karaksa,
Okay.
right? Yeah, because opponents tend to stop. They want to think, a little bit.
Yeah.
But you don't wanna allow them to think about that, options.
alright, so
In fact, he was just blocking after light punch,
Yeah,
right?
he was
He's
waiting.
blocking, right? He was waiting, right? So Karaksa,
Would have just gotten him.
yeah,
alright, so
Oh, Daisuke
and
doesn't
this is
want to
nice.
like, so
This is very
Knox-
nice. So this is our opportunity to use
talk. Want to talk.
other normals. This one, right?
Right.
This one can maybe beat his obviously crouch roundhouse and also maybe his crouch medium punch or something, right? And then also like because she's becoming a little bit small, this is very strong, right? This does make sense.
So
Want to
Knox.
come?
So Knox is somebody that's maybe one of Daisuke and Mutant's first
Okay.
students
Yeah,
on their program. So
absolutely.
want to make sure.
Nice dash
on
under.
screen.
Alright.
I should clean up this commentary.
Okay, so here, this situation, I think your offense was working well. Let's go back maybe 15 seconds or something. Your normals are hitting and then you dash under and you hit normals again, right? And then now your stamina is like 60%.
Right.
And then his stamina is like maybe less than 10%, right? And then you hit one more you get one more knockdown, right?
Right.
So this situation, right? I would say you shouldn't do any meaty. You shouldn't do that, right? You don't need to do any meaty in this situation. When I see like American players play, whenever in this situation they are trying to, I'm gonna kill them,
Right.
right?
Yeah. You want to win. You want to close it out.
Right, you wanna close it out, but I wanna say, why do you need to do meaty in this situation, right? You try some meaty and then you mistimed, right? Which is bad. But anyways, either way, even if you could do some like a good meaty, it was so risky.
Right.
The reason is this game is very different from other fighting games. The parry system makes it so unique, and then also it can give players players can always do some comeback with parry. And then in this situation, 99% of players, what they're gonna do is desperate parry, right? I'm not sure what Duke did here, but let's dissect it.
He might have moved forward.
Let's see.
I should clean up this commentary.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Right?
carried.
He stopped. So, hey, Duke, if you're listening, it's no offense, but not only I'm not talking about him, but people tend to parry in this situation.
Right.
Everybody does it, right? I would say 99% of American players do parry in this situation. And then I want to say, why do you need to do meaty in this situation, right? So options are maybe 1 out of 2. One, maybe you want to throw right? But a throw is still like a kind of, it's just a guess, right?
Yeah, it's still
right?
pretty risky.
Yeah, right? Maybe throw might work, so it's okay. But I would say the best option is here. Once you got knocked down,
I should clean up.
just wait, just see, right?
Right.
Just see, and then because he might do some crazy, also like a reversal super or something, right?
Right.
I said 99% of players would do parry, but I was wrong. 60% of players would do parry, and then the rest of 39% would do reversal super, right? So either way, you really shouldn't do any meaty in this situation. But
Right.
again, 99% of US players do meaty in this situation, which sucks. You should stop it, right? And then instead, please do some like a lame strategy, right?
Right.
Just pretend, right? Just pretend to do something, and then you shouldn't do that. Let them commit the suicide,
Right.
right?
At this point, I should be playing
That's okay.
as lame as possible.
Right. And then now you finally started, playing a little bit lame, right? Nice light kick, just to do some light kick. Sorry about that. Just to do this light kick, right?
Replayed.
Maybe if you slow down the playback.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Maybe do it to half speed or something.
Here.
This commentary.
Okay, this one. Okay, let's do half speed. Okay, this light
Mute
kick.
it too. That's gonna sound all wobbly.
Oh, okay, mute too. Okay,
You can move it here. if you want.
Guy.
okay, that's true. Oh, like this, right?
Yeah.
So you are okay because you won the round. But sorry, I'm kind of messing up my execution right now. my execution is always very bad in this game. So, and then I always complain the sticks, which sucks. So I also should improve my plan strategies. Is that here or
Yeah. Because I.
no?
Oh, no, that was the first
too much.
round.
Okay.
Yeah, I had one.
Nice little short.
First round, right here.
Okay, so eventually you won with this lame light kick. Your option was correct, right? You know how to beat, right? This is okay, but again, you shouldn't.
I should have done a much.
You shouldn't have done, yeah.
Make sure his matches got streamed.
And then you shouldn't have done
I should clean up this.
this MIDI, right? This doesn't make any sense, 0 sense, right?
Commentary then.
That's okay.
You can just gonna be replayed.
So, anyways,
Swell guy.
by the way, maybe you can also use back jump medium kick in this situation.
Yeah.
Because obviously, after Duke noticed his parry didn't work out, he was trying to get in, right? He did so many jumping after that. 1 jumping,
Be replayed.
2 jumping. Oh, and then,
And then I guess that was supposed to be super.
yeah, or something, right? So, okay, let's go to the round 2.
So I think Hardbread won the first game, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
So here, again, you...
That crouching medium kick was supposed to be Crocs.
Really?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I promise. I promise.
So you did character with punch button.
No, the crouching medium kick.
Oh, which one?
So I think Hardbread won the first game.
So I did that, bop, and that was supposed to be Crocs.
Okay. This is a very good point. So let's slow it down. Okay.
Up for
Won the first game, right?
So
So I
one
think
important thing is, as I said, how to start your offense, right? So if I play against Makoto, what I want to be the most cautious is her dashing, right? I really want to stop her dashing because her dash is insanely fast, right?
Right.
But from your standing point, once you make like your dashing success, which means you are in a very, very good position, right?
Right.
So my point is, whenever you like get a really good dash in, you really want to move to character because character is the eventually the most important
Right. It's the main goal.
main goal, right? Because if the opponent is really, really good versus Makoto, they really know how to stop her dashing, right? Because they know her dash is really dangerous. They really doesn't allow her to start some like a crazy offense. So my point is, whenever you make success with your dashing like this, this situation is so in favor of you. Let's do Karaksa right away, until you notice opponent somehow finally understand how to escape from light punch Karaksa sequence. You know, maybe you want to move to the other options, right? But basically, whenever you did this dashing, right, you should do Karaksa. Again, I think he's still blocking, right?
Yeah, because he's moving backwards.
Right? By the way, this sequence is good in some situations. I mean, crouch like a light jab into standing medium punch, which is good because you can get some like a frame advantage. Right. But this situation, maybe you can just directly move to Karaksa.
Yeah.
Because this is just one step, you know, like this is a unnecessary extra step, right? Right? Because you did 2 dashes and then finally you tried to do Karaksa. But it's too much in this situation. Okay, so let's...
Why did you press that crouching fierce?
It's a really bad panic habit.
Panic habit.
Yeah. So it's like a tick.
Yeah. I need to do it. That's exactly what that is. I already know. I'm trying so hard to work on that.
Even in this situation...
But what was your thinking, though? Like, why do you... like? Because, you know, like, I think a lot of times, you know, like, obviously all of us have bad habits. We press buttons when we shouldn't.
Right.
But I think it's also important that we kind of understand why we did it. So, like, you know, so sometimes, like, were you anticipating something? What were you... You know?
I was definitely anticipating something. I know that it has beaten like jump-ins before, right? Like if I'm spaced better, it'll catch them. I mean, obviously he did something that it would never have beaten.
Yeah, but Daisuke, can you talk a little bit about the challenge of sort of resisting, like what Knox was explaining, right? He did the crouching fierce because it's like a guess, right? It's a read, or he thinks,
or maybe habit.
He thinks Duke is gonna dash or something,
right?
Like, what advice would you have for players to kind of help resist, you know, that temptation? Because I think a lot of players, even older players, have that feeling or have that tendency.
I think I'm not sure this could be the right answer, but I always think you should be aware of your goal of the day, right? It might be hard to understand what is your bad habit, right? That's why we are doing this program. Because through this program, we want to like kind of point out, you know, what is bad habit, what you should do, what you shouldn't, right? And then once you understood what is your bad habit, the next step is just, you know, being super aware of your bad habit, right? So maybe, you know, the next day, you know, next time when you can go to the arcade, you should be aware of, you know, how to get rid of your bad habit, right? And then instead, what you should, you know, you should be aware of what you should do in certain situations. So in this situation, obviously, I would recommend crouch roundhouse instead of crouch fierce, right? Because again, that normal can beat almost all Dudley's normals, right? So, but you know, to your point, being aware of your habit and then trying to change it little by little. This is very important. Again, 99% of players are not aware of what is their bad habits and then they don't improve it. They don't want to improve it, right? They just want to keep as they are, right? I was trying to teach some... this might be talking shit, so I'm going to stop it. But yeah.
You don't have to mention any names.
Yeah, we don't have to mention any names.
Right. So... But anyway,
or if you have the temptation to mention a name, just use me. Just use my name. just from now on on this program. If there's a player you want to talk smack about, just use my name. Like I was telling Mutant the other day. Like even if it's like some other player, just you know.
Right. So I was the Mutant was asking me, you know, to teach him, right? And then I started teaching, but he never changed his habit. And then he even said, you know, I wanna stick with my style. I don't wanna lose my identity.
That sounds like me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you. Very bad student. Very bad student. So please be aware of what is your, you know, goal of the day, right? And then what you want to change. Because obviously I'm not the best player, so I'm still trying to change my style. My background is a little bit complicated, so I'm gonna talk about it little by little, but you know, I'm still challenging new stuff. So, oops, somebody was like exposing, but no, it's mutant, not
It's
this
definitely
guy.
mutant.
It's definitely
Definitely
mutant.
me.
Anyways, anyway, okay. So you should have done crouch roundhouse here, right? Okay, let's go back.
Knocks his up around, nice response, but he gets clipped with the anti-air machine gun blow. Nagete. Overhead parry. Oh no, it didn't hit.
Oh, okay, so maybe you thought, oh, I made a mistake. You know, I couldn't connect to super, right?
Right.
That is correct, but the point is not that thing here.
Damage.
So
Nagete.
there are 2 points
Nice
here.
response, but he gets clipped with the
I think
anti-air machine gun blow.
versus Dudley, guest parry is kind of necessary, right?
Yeah.
Because like this 50-50 is like equally attacking like any kind of humankind, right?
Right.
Even Nuki has to deal with this one with 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Unless you are Esper or something, right? So you need to do parry sometimes, but after parry, of course, you want to do maximum punish, right? Because you already took so big risk when you did parry in this situation, right? Because parrying is a very, very big risk. So, since you made it success, you want to punish with the maximum combo or something. So this situation may be either direct round Fierce into EX Hayate, or maybe just doing Karaksa, right? So that is the first point. And then second point is even after Karaksa or something. Okay. Okay, so you shouldn't do super in this situation.
Okay. Why?
The why?
I wanted to use it to get out of the corner is what my intention was.
Yeah, exactly. That is good. The reason is, so I mentioned the meter management, right? Like for her, like when to use super SA1 is very, very important. If your intention was you wanted to get out of the corner, maybe you can just do a Karaksa into like a Fierce EX Hayate, right? And then so in the second round or third round, if you have a meter, you want to use it either the very, very beginning of the round as a punish or something, or you want to use it like to close the deal, right? If you use it here, it can't like give the opponents like enough pressure, because he's gonna think, oh, okay, she lost like a super, and then my stamina is still like a 40% or something, so I can like be still like adventurous, or something.
Still be aggressive,
right? Still be aggressive. So yeah, so I wouldn't recommend this use, but her meter management is very complicated. It's still maybe controversial among top players when to use. So I'm gonna maybe explain it later, but anyways.
So I like how he jumped out.
Yeah,
He was trying to fight his way out.
And then this situation is obviously.
I just wanted to build meter.
Yeah, it's a good choice. So your choice was correct, because this situation is kinda desperate. So it's very hard to win, right? So you try to keep distance, and then you made meter. This is okay.
Right.
But one thing I wanna correct is this standing medium punch, right?
So I like how he jumped out.
Yeah,
He was trying to fight his way out.
Here you did standing medium punch. This is standing medium punch. This doesn't make sense, because this move is strong when you are doing your offense, but it's not good in the ground game. So again, maybe you should have done crouch roundhouse against him, right? I'm now talking about like versus Dudley, but my point is not only about him, but I'm saying to understand the correct normals against each character is very, very important. Right? So you don't need to use this one, because this one can't beat anything, right? And then you just died. So this is a kind of free die. So Duke got some luck, from your kind of unnecessary move.
Alright, whatever.
Wow, he's gonna punish that.
He's probably gonna lose that round anyway.
Yeah.
So now he's got to build meter. That's a priority.
In Smash, we when you accidentally or when you kill yourself, we call that a self-destruct.
Oh, also
So you could say that I basically just self-destruct.
Yeah, self-destruct. Yeah. You want to let your opponent self-destruct. That is the main goal of this game.
He went for the jugular.
He went for the Slim X.
Oh, we could have jet. Oh, that's curtains right there.
All right.
Curtains.
Wow,
Maybe that
Hard Bread
thing.
takes it.
In the first.
Oh, in the first game.
Nice jump.
It's not a big deal. We don't have to.
No.
Unless you really want to point. out.
Okay, so we are just like talking about how to correct his game. So finally, let's see some good play from him. Where is that?
It was somewhere. It was on this side of the screen, but I don't.
Sorry guys, we are now
Oh, maybe it was here.
here. Okay, so let's see some good sequence.
Yo, man, you've been fucking so close every Wednesday.
So this dash throw is very good, right?
Right.
Because you can like switch the position, right? And then as I always told you, dash throw is very strong, right?
It's so strong.
It's start up in 13 frame, and then I would say it. I would call it as a like a 13 frame unblockable,
Right.
right? It's almost unblockable, right? You can't say you can react to her dashing every time, right?
And not every time.
Not every time, right? So it's so strong.
I'm grinding out here.
I can see
That
it.
jump back was to bait out a DP because Duke does like
Skill
to.
2 is
Right.
broken, actually. Like, I've been figuring some shit out.
Ooh, Nox and
Okay, this whole sequence is very good. So let's look it again.
Smash Brothers.
So you are now in the corner, but you are trying to change the position.
So close every Wednesday.
So you dash in, then throw, Duke, and then
I can see.
you front dash again, and then directly Karaksa, right?
Right.
So I would say, either directly, Karaksa or maybe light punch Karaksa is the maybe first choice,
Right.
right?
But yo, Sim V trigger 2 is broken.
No,
Yo, V skill
of
2 is
course,
broken.
regular,
I've
slow.
been figuring some shit out.
This is very good. Again,
Trigger 2 is broken.
Yeah.
Yo, V skill 2
after this, you have some mix up, right? This like a low attack, and also you can do Karaksa or high attack as well. I'm gonna show you the a flowchart of the Makoto's offense right after this footage.
Okay.
Okay. But anyways, you did it, and then one more thing I think really good is you did backdash here, right? I'm not sure you are conscious or not, but this backdash allows you to do this jump tsurugi,
Yep.
right? Unless you do this backdash to adjust the range, you can't do this tsurugi.
Right.
Maybe you are aware, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this sequence is very strong.
I've been working on my spacing in the corner since you had mentioned it to me.
Right.
It's like something I've been very focused on.
Fighting Sims.
Right.
It's helped.
Like since,
Right.
Like the season switched over. Fucking hard.
Okay, so many things I wanna
I do
share
like that it feels
in
like
this
more
one episode, but since the time is running out, let's stop the footage analysis and then let's wrap up with slide and demonstration.
Definitely.
Okay.
Right. Yuki's also right. Where is that Yuki? Yeah.
Oh, did you want to?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I was just reading the Yuki's comment. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yuki is saying medium kick Rugi is basically better.
Yeah, because then I get a chest.
Yeah, that is very true because also the plus frames are same between roundhouse Tsurugi and the medium kick Tsurugi.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yep. Okay, so by the way, this one is a pixel data of her crouch light kick. She's gonna be so small when do the light kick.
Right.
So actually, I Yuki taught me. So when she did this crouch light kick as a reversal on wake up, and then if the Yun is doing meaty standing medium punch, actually this medium punch is gonna be whiffing.
Yeah, it's gonna go right over this.
Right. So basically, Yun can't do meaty with this one against Makoto, which is very insightful. But my point is, this one is so strong. So let's close the deal with this move, right? Let's be a lame player sometimes.
Yep.
Right. So
Ready to be a lame.
and then I actually obviously I'm running out the So running out the time to explain this chart. So I will just send it to you later. But what I wanna say here is maybe you can use this one later. But this is the a basic sequence of the close combat, like you did, right?
Right.
So either you wanna do direct Karaksa or standing medium punch. By the way, I'm talking about Oki game right
Yeah,
now,
Oki.
right? Oki game, right? And then, yeah, as long as you can do meaty, I think direct Karaksa or standing medium punch is kind of enough, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so maybe you can read this one later, and then this one is a kind of advanced options, but I'm gonna skip this one right now. And then this one is very important. So after Karaksa, right, the optimal combo is always almost standing fierce into charge medium punch Hayate, right? Because medium punch Hayate has a longer buffer frame than fierce Hayate, so it's easy to make it charging one, right? And then one more important thing is I have already told you, but when the opponent's stand meter is 0, if you can open up your offense with Karaksa, and then you did the first loop, which is Karaksa, Fierce, and charging medium punch Hayate.
Right, level 1.
Number 1. And then if you can repeat the same one right after the first Hayate, right? You can actually get your opponent stun with this one loop, right? So I'm gonna explain it again. So when opponent's stun gauge is 0, you can start with maybe Karaksa, and then you can do Pierce into charge Hayate, right? Not regular Hayate.
Yeah, charge medium punch.
Charge medium punch Hayate. And then if you can do the second Karaksa, and then again Pierce into medium punch Hayate, and then of course you can connect to Super 1.
Right.
And then it's gonna be an immediate stun sequence, right? So therefore, always the Karaksa, after hitting Hayate, Karaksa is the optimal choice, right?
Right.
But of course, opponents are always aware of Karaksa, right?
They don't want to get grabbed again.
Right. So basically, the rest of options are how to stop those opponent's defense or something. So maybe also you can refer this one later because it's too long. Yeah, and then also sometimes even after Hayate, even when you have a frame advantage, sometimes you want to do maybe parry or just block,
Yeah, because people like to push buttons after Hayate sometimes.
Right. Especially when they are upset, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is very similar to when I told you shouldn't do meaty when you have a big lead, right?
Right.
Kind of similar. When opponents are upsetting, they are doing some crazy DP or something, so you should sometimes wait, wait, right? But I'm gonna send it to you later. So, but anyways,
okay.
Yeah, maybe this one is maybe off right now, and also this was very important, and I really wanted to explain this thing, but this was kind of additional info of the sequence I showed right before, because of this frame mechanics, those options are right and then other options are wrong, right? In theory. But the one most important thing is, let's say after standing medium punch on block, you have 6 frame plus frames, right? And then after the block stun, opponents will have throw invincibility. Always when opponents get hit or block something, they're gonna have 6 frame throw invincibility. Right?
Yep.
And then only you can do Karaksa after this, throw invincibility finishing, right? And then the point is, Roundhouse Karaksa start up in 10 frames, but it's gonna be it has 4 frame active frames, right? So it's gonna start actually this 10th frame, but it's gonna remain until 13th frame, and then which allows her to do almost the fastest Karaksa right after the standing medium punch. So let's use roundhouse Karaksa after standing medium punch, right?
Okay.
Right, and also the mix-up is obviously standing fierce or crouch medium punch, but the reason is explained in the previous slide, so maybe you can read it later.
Yeah, I'll refer to it later.
Yes, please. And one more important thing is, so opponents sometimes want to do a crouch light punch or something to stop it, right?
Of course.
Yeah, Chun has the fastest one, 3 frame, and then other characters, like regular characters, have like 5 frames, right?
Right.
And then when you see the starting frame of their jabs, Chun's one starts with like start at the 9th frame in this matrix, right? So your crouch medium punch can beat it if you do it the fastest.
Yeah, right away.
Right away, right? And then also, of course, obviously, your crouch medium punch can beat any of like other jabs, right? So that's why this can be mixed up. And then there is some trick to avoid both Karaksa and then these standing fears and then crouch medium punch. There is some trick, but it's kind of too complicated to explain, in this show. So maybe
Next year.
Next year. Yeah, next time we're gonna have you, right? Yeah. And this one is like the version, the same one, but after Hayate, right?
Right.
Maybe you can also refer to this one, and then maybe you can understand why these options are effective and then why these aren't effective, right?
Right. Not just pointing that people are learning things, which is good.
Okay, well, sure. Okay, I wanted to explain this one more, but if you are curious, maybe you can reach out to me on Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, Knox, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
I appreciate it. You've been such a great student for the first episode, and so we're gonna go ahead and take about a 5-minute break, but then when we come back, we're going to step aside and have a brand new vet and a Third Strike player come on the show. When we come back, we're gonna have Renic. Very strong, longtime Alex player, originally from the SoCal scene, now is out there in Arizona, and he's going to be sitting down to watch footage of some matches of a up-and-coming Urien player from Michigan named Crime Alley. And so we're going to take about a 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back with Renic and Crime Alley. Is there anything you guys wanted to say before we go on break?
Nothing in particular, just thank you, Daisuke, very much. Like this is extremely important to me. Like I really, really, really appreciate all of this. That's it.
All right.
Yep.
Okay,
Thanks,
guys. All right. So, but before we go, just wanted to remind everyone to please check out the Jazzy Circuit. Check out our social media outlets. Definitely check out our official league page, smash.gg/the Jazzy Circuit. Shout outs to all our sponsors, Paradise Arcade, Matcherito, helping us out.
Links.
There was a lot of Third Strike this weekend.
Yeah, there was.
And so definitely check out the VODs for last night's tournaments. We had 4 big tournaments last night. We had a tournament that I believe has just concluded over at the Candy Cave. Not really sure what the stream was, but there's definitely going to be some VODs available. Also, final round, guys. Remember, there is no off-site registration for final round this year. And so the last day to register, I believe, will be March 8th, which is in 3 weeks.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Or in 2 weeks, excuse me. So please make sure you register if you have any plans on going to final round. Remember, final round is going to be an official Jazzy Circuit auto qualifier. And also, last but not least, check out the Jazzy Circuit finale. You could register right now, freeplay series, springseries.com/jazzy. 3 days of Third Strike and all Third Strike Major. I'm going to be there. Daisuke will be there. Nox, hopefully you'll be there.
Am I there?
Well,
I don't know that.
I hope you are.
You're going to fly me out?
I hope, well, if you win an auto qualifier, you gotta earn it.
Jesus.
But yeah, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to have Renic breaking down footage of Crime Alley's matches. So don't go away, guys. You're watching 3S Night School. Hey everyone, Mutant XP back on the stream. I am here with Daisuke. This is the world premiere of 3S Night School. Thank you so much for joining us on this very informative stream so far, Daisuke. Thank you so much for sharing all of this knowledge with all of us Third Strike players here in America. And shout outs to the chat for all of your support. I hope you guys are finding this very informative. And so for the next segment, Daisuke, we're going to sort of step aside and allow another Third Strike veteran to get a chance to break down match footage. And so on tonight's show, we have none other than Renic in the house, a.k.a. Ty. How's it going, Renic?
Fantastic.
So Ty has been kind enough to donate his time to come on the show, and so when we were thinking about this idea, Ty, you were one of the first players that sort of came to mind because for those of you who don't know Renic, you should, number one, but number two, when OE came out a few years ago, you really tried to kind of you were one of the very few players that was very cognizant of the fact that when OE came out, that Third Strike was going to be brand new to a lot of players. And so if you check out Ty's YouTube channel, and just feel free to plug in the URL in the chat if you want, Ty. But Renic actually produced a series of Third Strike videos geared more towards beginning players. They were called the Renic Primers. Where he sort of broke down a lot of the characters in the cast, from the very start. Mm-hmm. And so, this is kind of the thing that Renic's already been doing for a really long time.
Exactly.
So shout outs to Ty for, being a pioneer in terms of, using media and using the internet to try and help Third Strike players get better. Yeah. And so, you wanted to say a few words about Renic, Daisuke?
Oh, yeah, of course, sure. Hi, Renic. How's it going?
Yo.
So, guys, I met Renic in LA last December, and I think, so you don't play so often in Arizona, right?
No, about once a month.
Right. And then I believe you must have been a very, very strong player. You are very strong right now, but you must have been played more often before. But when I saw him playing at Dons last December, I immediately knew, wow, this guy is really strong, right? Because I can tell it when people are thinking and then when people are very smart, right? It's kind of easy to understand how much him or she is dedicating to Third Strike. And then, I believe Renic is one of those, people. And then also when I came up with this show's idea, with a mutant, I was referring to a lot of his videos, right? It was really, really informative. And then it really helped me understand or, develop my own contents, that is still, ongoing, but I referred to his videos a lot. So yeah, I'm really glad to work with him today. So.
Yeah, awesome. And for our second guest player to come on the show, we have none other than Crime Alley Urien player from the Detroit, Michigan area. And not to blow you up, Crime, but you're probably, I would say, one of the younger, if not one of the youngest players currently active in the scene. Is that what would I be correct to say that, Crime?
I wouldn't say that's too far-fetched at all.
That's not too far-fetched. So right now, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna basically hand the stream over to Ty and Crime Alley, and they're gonna be actually watching some footage of Crime's gameplay at Frosty Faustings last month. Crime, despite the fact that you're so young and you're a new player, you really you seem to understand the importance of just going out there and playing, and shout outs to that, really shout outs to that. And so, I look forward to seeing you in future events, but we're going to break down a couple of your matches from Frosty Faustings. I think we're going to, I don't know. I'll just let you and Ty kind of take it from here. Crime, is there anything that you wanted to kind of say, in terms of Third Strike, or, what you're looking to get out of the show, and, what are some of the insights you're trying to kind of gain?
I suppose just, I guess if we want to put like broadly, like, of course, learning, but yeah, just really trying to understand, I guess, how I could have approached this differently. I mean, just with seeing how Daisuke did with is his name Knox? You said.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, there was just many like small like sequences that he was kind of breaking down as far as decisions. So I think that could be helpful as far as like this little thing here and there, like okay, maybe you could do this differently or things of that sort.
All right, so I thought maybe let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So Ty, you want to get started here?
Yeah. Can you see the match? I haven't started it yet, but can you see it?
Yeah, we can definitely see it, yeah.
All right, perfect. So let me just preface here real quick. I'm not going to give you specifics in the sense of you, like, oh, you hit somebody, this is the Urien combo you need to do, right? You can hit up some Urien bro about, like, the
Urien bro?
the specifics, like, unblockable setup on
there is no shortage of Urien
like
bros.
that, right? Yeah. So as far as like specifics combos on like, what's the unblockable here or yada yada yada, hit them up for that. What we really need to work on is your foundation and you achieving objectives, which is gonna have the greatest impact on your game. The specifics of like, oh, I should have did a medium headbutt in this combo or whatever. That's not what's
I'm just
gonna
gonna
give you the strongest impact in your game. We need to kind of focus on like the more foundation. So that's kind of what I'm going to be going on about. And then I'll pause the video as we're talking and write down whatever things we point out, and then we can kind of go over those at the end. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna start the video here. Looks like Urien versus Alina. First, real quick, how long have you been playing?
So I really started like online. So I'd say around like 5 years now. Like really like continuously trying to get better and whatnot.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go. So there's no sound, so you can hear me, but as long as we can see the match.
Right.
So, do you have a lot of experience against Alina at all?
Not a whole lot. I do have experience against Dirtmaster though, somewhat, but even in Dirtmaster's Dirtmaster.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm just gonna pause it right here. So when you're in the corner against Alina, what is your mindset? What are you thinking? What are you looking out for? What's going through your head?
I'm definitely on guard for Kara throws, as well as if I am getting hit by throws, then I'm kind of looking out for that roundhouse button. That's kind of like the throw evade. And I'm also looking out for Malice Smash Parry, so I guess I can like lift down fierce.
Gotcha. So what I want you to focus on when Urien is in the corner, there's really only a few things that, because when, like, here, I'll go back a step. At this situation right here, you can see how you're in the corner, you're blocking, Alina's right in front of you, right? Okay, so in this situation, your normals are kind of neutered. You don't really have a lot of options to fight her off, right? So your objective, and this is really the key point that I want to drive home, in certain situations in the overall match, you want to hit your objectives. And if you hit those objectives, then the match will unfold naturally way better for you. So, for instance, when you're in this corner here and Alina has you, your options are escape the corner,
right?
Counter poke, block, or throw her into the corner. So obviously throwing her into the corner is the best case scenario. So while you being in the corner is not that great, it does allow you to wait because you're actually kind of scary. If she messes up, pressure, when you're in the corner, you get a free throw into the corner, and then that's Urien's party time, right?
Right.
So the key here when you're in the corner is patience, patience, patience. And what I want you to do is more occasionally wait for a jump or a walk-up command grab or a walk-up car grab. So literally just down back and wait for a jump or a command grab. Because really, what are her options here? She doesn't have meter,
right,
or super. So the most she's going to do to you, if all you do is block, is throw you or overhead you, right?
Okay. Right.
So if you press a button, that's the only way you're going to get hit, right?
True.
By big damage. So when you're in the corner, you're biding your time. You're waiting for that opportune moment to take your turn back or basically start your offense. So if she gets a little too risky, not tight pressure, I want you to throw into the corner. If she jumps, you can dash forward, like train yourself to immediately dash forward or roundhouse tackle out of the corner the second you see a jump. Okay? So basically, you're either going to look to disengage or back throw when she gets a little too free in her pressure and there's an opening, right? I don't want you don't want to try to outfight her when you're in this situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay. All right. We'll move on. Okay. So rounds like that are going to happen. That happens. You kind of just got to move on and really focus on your next objective here.
Right.
So, and then, like I said, I'm not going to really get into combos here, but I feel like you're leaving a lot of damage on the table. When Urien wants to dictate the flow of the match while building meter, and the few hits that you do get, you want to convert, or the few openings that you do get, you want to convert into max damage. Hey, Mutant, can you hear me? Shut up. So I don't know what you're supposed to do here, but obviously this should lead into way more damage, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how difficult it is for Unblockable to Alina, but this is a key point that isn't foundation based. This is, pure execution and matchup knowledge. You need to maximize punish on things like this because you're not going to get a lot of those openings against Alina. She's kind of a squirrely character. A lot of her normals, even when parried, are kind of difficult to punish, especially for Urien. And on top of that, Alina players, they're just weirdos. You never know what they're going to do.
And she falls out of stuff a lot.
Right. So, So we'll move on. Okay. So at this stage, she has super. Okay. So now it went from you being able to safely trade hits and brawl to even more so, you need to go back to that mindset and game plan of biding your time, not letting her achieve her objective and moving in without risk. And once that opportunity comes, maximizing your punish. So for instance, this range where she's at, this down medium kick range, that's bad range for you. You don't want to be anywhere near that, right?
Okay.
This is the range you want to avoid at all costs because this is the range that if she does hit you, leads into big damage. Other ranges in an Alina matchup, it sucks to get hit by a roundhouse. It sucks to get hit with a sweep, etc. But it's nowhere near as bad as when you're getting hit with the super, right? So basically, where this range is right here, you want to be, it's hard to explain with me not right next to you, but you want to be just outside of that range where that button whiffs.
Okay.
Okay, so when that button riffs, you have really, I really kind of want you to only use 3 buttons in this matchup until you get super comfortable, and then you can start being a little more nuanced with other normals. But basically, when you're sitting right outside of that crouching medium kick range, or that's a medium punch, Alina's just weird.
Yeah.
On whiff, you want a standing fierce. So that's kind of your game plan. You're going to play back and forth outside of that poke, and you're going to use standing fierce on counter poke only, basically. Does that make sense? Counter poke only, standing fierce. And what you're looking to do is counter poke that crouching medium punch. Okay, so what about not counter poke? Not counter poke, you want to use your max distance low medium kick. Okay, so this is to stop her when she's going to start walking forward, when she's not using her medium kick, okay, or medium punch rather. That's where you want to keep her, at max distance of her low medium kick. Okay, now low medium kick of Urien isn't very threatening, right? So what you need to throw in there while you're using that is your max distance sweep. Max distance sweep, number 1, is much better reward. You get your knockdown and you get to start your Oki, right?
Right.
So because people are gonna be okay with running into low medium kick every once in a while. But if you if you speckle a few low forward or low roundhouses in there for a sweep, that makes that a little more dangerous, and they're a little more hesitant to just walk forward and gain ground on you. So hopefully the objective there is to keep her right outside of her crouching medium kick.
Okay.
All right. So basically, when you're in the footsie zone mindset, standing fierce punch on counter poke, and then to stop advancement, low medium kick, and speckled in with crouching roundhouse. That makes sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me real quick, what do you do for anti-air? When someone jumps at you with a roundhouse kick, doesn't matter what character, what do you do?
Well, I do use a lot of standing roundhouse at times. I do at times use standing jab too, but not quite as much.
Okay.
If someone versus and I mean honestly, I will go for anti-air sphere for juggles as well.
Sure. So basically, we need to have you do things that is really beneficial and high impact for Urien. So basically, you need to get good at when they jump in on you. If they throw a button, you need to recognize that and you need to parry.
Okay, I do that as well. As far as the setup of pairing a normal, and then fierce and laying out Aegis and going for an unblockable setup.
Right. So the point. The important part there is that you're maximizing your slight advantages and maximizing your impact when you do have a slight advantage. So basically, you need to either any jump in that needs to become a natural thing. Jump in, parry, because Urien is so scary. If you get your jump in parried, that should be
for sure.
And you need to be able to do it consistently, so they are afraid to apply pressure with a free, easy jump in. And if they're afraid to jump in, then your normals of fierce punch, crouching medium kick, and max distance sweep are going to become that much stronger. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So we'll continue here.
Okay.
Okay, you waited for a time to jump out. Perfect. Okay. Cool. So, I mean, that was good, but obviously that standing medium punch beating out that EX overhead, it's kind of like a fluke, right? You can't really,
Definitely, yeah. I didn't
you know what I mean?
anticipate
It's
that.
just, you know what I mean? So good. It worked out for you.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I would mention is that in the corner, you really, again, this is all about like min-maxing, like maximizing your situations. So in the corner, let's see if I can back up a little bit. Right here. So right here, in this position, unless they're a very scary player that doing tackle on their wake up is risky, canceling to Aegis, unless you know, like, yeah, they can parry, they're good, they're gonna parry this. It's all every time. I would rather see a dash, a shoulder charge into Aegis to push them further into the corner. When you have a character like this and the Aegis is that far out, it's like wasted, right? And Urien's biggest X factor is Aegis, obviously.
Right.
So anytime you use Aegis, it needs to be as efficient as possible. So maybe wait one more knockdown, go for a throw, try to get a more optimal situation for your Aegis.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got to use it, you got to use it. You know, every situation is a little different, but you really need to focus on maximizing Aegis usage. Okay. Okay, so another tidbit here. When Alina has meter, obviously you got to be, pretty cautious. But if Alina doesn't have a super, throw out a random light tackle. Throw out a random EX headbutt. Don't let her kind of like dictate the match, right? Show that you're willing to, like, hey, if you're not going to play flawlessly, something's going to fly out and hit you. You have to fight back in a safe way to not, just open yourself up, but to show that person that they're going to have to give you a little respect.
Yeah.
Instead of them, I'm just going to do my shit, right? You have to force them to adapt and think. So being a little more active, especially when a character like Alina doesn't have a super docked yet, a little more aggressive randomness would do you good. Like if she blocks light shoulder, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Not a lot. And that's funny. This was like recommended to me as well. Like
perfect.
Started the match for that matchup.
Perfect. All right, we'll continue on. So here you're basically biding your time and waiting for that opportunity to use all your meter. Jumping in with Urien, sometimes you got to do it, man, but it's really not that great. Urien's jumping really isn't good. Even if you do get off a parry and hit a normal, a lot of times it's hard to do a great combo after that, right? Because down Ferris is slow.
I use it more for like just like I use it as far as being active in footsie and like getting meter, I guess.
Yeah. So what I would say instead of jumping in, do jump neutral max distance roundhouse.
Okay.
When max distance roundhouse is parried by the opponent, it's very difficult for a lot of characters to punish Urien's max distance, just at the heel, at the tip, right?
Right.
So instead of jumping forward, which could get you into a fairly risky situation, let's say they parry your move or they just do a good anti-air or whatever, let's do more neutral jumping instead, just like you did there, and react to how they react to it. Yep, it's rough. And down Ferris, I'm sure every Urien player is going to be a little different here. But really, your down Ferris should really be only used for punish. Like if they miss an uppercut, if you get a parry off of, or when you're baiting throws. So punishing whiffed throws with down Ferris is a super good thing that, I mean, it's just huge damage off of a whiff throw, right? If they whiff a throw and you can down Ferris that's like the round, right? You should be massively in your favor. So the idea with Urien is how do you open somebody up with Urien? He doesn't have amazing high low game. And if he does hit you high or low, it oftentimes, unless they're behind an Aegis, doesn't lead into huge damage. So Urien's dash is really strong, and again, distance is a big thing. Max distance dash with Urien is very strong. So let's say you have your ground game set up, your anti-airs are on point, they don't like jumping in at you. So they're forced to play that max distance range that you're keeping them at with that low forward and low roundhouse, right? So if they're at that low forward and low roundhouse, you're at the distance that when you dash, it immediately ends right in front of them, and it's the perfect spacing to either dash throw, which is really strong with Urien in the sense of he has got a good throw and he's got a good dash. And number two, if you get comfortable with that range, if you are half a step back and then you dash, they'll be conditioned to throw you because you've been dashing in and throwing them. So when you dash in and condition them to throw, and this time you space it so you dash up and you're outside of throw range,
right,
just outside of it, that's when the whiff throw into down fierce punish comes in. And that's your huge opening, right?
True. I definitely should take advantage of that.
So and again, a lot of this it's going to take practice and being comfortable. But these are these are objectives and goals that you want to try to start molding your game towards.
Okay.
All right. We're going to go to the next match. Hey, Mutant, you there?
We got.
What kind of host is this? All right, I'm just going to hope the stream can see this, and I'll start playing. So this is against Makoto.
Okay.
Bullet Ball Face. I'm not familiar, but
I am,
old and I don't know anybody anymore. So,
this is.
Have
Face,
you played him before?
This was the first
Face.
time I ever sat down to play Face, as far as I remember.
Isn't there? There's another guy named Face.
Exactly. Yeah, this is Face.
Okay, not that guy. This is a different Face.
Yep.
He should change his name to Arm or something.
Arm.
No. I'm just saying, man. There's already a guy that his name is Face. Like,
I mean, it could be it could be a childhood nickname, man. Like that ain't going nowhere.
That's true. Everyone's got a face though, so I don't know. Anyway, all right, against Makoto. So Makoto, look. First thing you got to know about Makoto is that the players, they don't have any soul. They're not real humans. So when you gotta play this match real dirty and scummy, and don't feel bad about it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go into this and take a look.
All right. So it's gonna be Makoto versus Urien.
So this whole time, it looks like you're doing good. You're keeping at that distance. You're keeping headbutt charged, which is good. And of course, this whole time you want to be keeping her out and building meter, which you're trying to do so far. Makoto's a tough match though, so it's not it's easier said than done, but it looks like you got the right game plan down. Okay, so she's 2 meter, you got 1. That sucks, but you're 1 meter can still do plenty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a thing. Does that happen often when you parry their jumping and this down fierce whiffs? Like it's tough, right?
Yeah,
because a lot of times that's part of Urien's limitations is that when his biggest button that goes into big damage is fairly limiting. Not the greatest range, not so. In situations, and again, this is going to just become with practice, but in situations when you parry a neutral jump like that, it should be standing fierce.
Yeah.
So standing fierce it's not about the damage at that point. It's about getting the knockdown and starting your turn, right? It's kind of like a silly little thing to mention, but things like this are huge for Urien. Being able to stop their momentum and just take your turn back and make your turn, backed by your meter when you're near the corner is really key, right? So kind of a one-off nuanced kind of thing, but oftentimes just scoring the knockdown rather than getting nothing. When you're in the range, we're like, this Furious is kind of like iffy here. Just score the knockdown. Focus on getting that knockdown, and then set up, your Urien pressure. But we'll continue. Yeah, it's tough, man. What?
Yeah.
So let's say she command grabs you and then does Furious to dash punch. What's your next kind of like? Where's your mind at? What are you thinking?
So are you speaking like as far as like if she does fierce in the EX dash and I'm like in a corner kind of deal?
No, just she grabs you with the command grab. She does
Right.
Furious into dash punch. What do you think?
So yeah, if it's not like a knockdown, she's just doing the regular one. I'm instantly definitely thinking about jumping. It might not always be the situation to jump, but I'm definitely thinking about it because I don't want to take more damage that way.
Right. And there's no perfect answer here. And that's why, again, sometimes you gotta do something in the sense of, hey, respect me. Right?
Yeah.
So now obviously this is a tough match because Makoto has good options against EX headbutt. But after blocking in those situations, sometimes you do have to just say, hey, stop whiling out.
Yeah.
I'm going to let this rip. Make them think twice next time they're in that situation.
Yep.
And if they're actually thinking about that, then you have the safer opportunity to jump back parry, right? Obviously neutral jump against Makoto in that situation wouldn't be very good. You want to jump out or kind of EX headbutt or parry throw. That's really your 3 options. Does that make sense?
But you said 3 options were what again?
Jump back.
Right.
EX headbutt.
Yeah.
Or parry throw.
Right.
So obviously each of those options have counters, but that's the game we play. You need to choose the right option, and so does the Makoto player in that situation, right? So it's a matter of it's kind of like rolling the dice in that situation, but that's Makoto. When she's in that spot, it's really scary. Okay, so you caught the jump back, or you called out the command grab, so jump back roundhouse, perfect option. All right, so yeah, super dangerous. Okay, back throw. So Is that right here the medium kick, the down medium kick?
Mhm.
What's the goal here with that down
The
medium
goal,
kick?
the goal, I guess, to like, I guess, mix it up. But he kept staying low, I suppose.
Gotcha.
It's
Exactly.
either that, or it's like just sometimes I will like I guess out of habit, like keep it kind of safe.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But yeah.
So again, we're going back to we're maximizing our moments when we have those situations.
Yeah.
Low medium kick, yeah, it's a low, and if they don't block it, you'll get to combo. But basically, if they block it, your follow up after that is super weak. So when you go low, you should basically only do low short. Low short's gonna end quick
True.
enough to where
True.
you could even do another overhead. Maybe not get a full combo out of it, but do it safely because she's still behind the Aegis. Or after the low short, be able to walk up right when the Aegis expires, and then either throw bait into Down Furious or some kind of meaty.
Right.
So basically, after the Aegis, even if they block the whole thing, you need to position yourself to where it's still your turn, and it's not just one more like, oh, here's a sweep, I hope this hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of that sweep, here, we'll look at it a little bit here. So instead of that sweep, maybe it should have been walk up right next to her and either pressure throw or like low short tick into Standing Fierce. Because when you start to throw people a lot, because Urien's throw is pretty good, and it's obviously lets them to continue the pressure. Tick, short into Standing Fierce. Standing Fierce will beat that throw that they mash out, because as long as the tick pushes you far enough away. And again, it's not like, you're not going to net huge damage, but it's about attacking safely and keeping yourself in more beneficial situations. You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let this match right out, and then we'll kind of talk about stuff with your questions and etc.
Okay.
Okay. And here, you already know. I mean, damage left on the table, right? Hit up one of the Urien bros for the best one, and maybe you can already do it. That's good.
Yeah.
If you can, then it's just practice, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So those were the two matches. We kind of covered a lot, but really they all kind of fall back to a lot of the same points and the thing, and the same kind of objective, or like, your kind of missions throughout the match. What do you have questions on, or what do you struggle with, or go ahead.
Definitely like throughout like those games, especially, it was just, I think nerves played a part, as well as decision
Always.
making too.
Mm-hmm.
Decision making definitely, like yeah, like as far as sticking to like the actual game plan and not getting lost in like these, like not getting lost in maybe like a specific situation, or just being able to stick to that general game plan and like able to have it simplified enough to where
Right. And
whether if you're taking risk, like the goal is either whether you're trying to get him in unblockable to get damage, or you want to get him in the corner, you got to get that Aegis off.
right. And what I'll say is, a lot of this is going to be, your mental progress, in the sense of next time you go practice,
Right.
focus on, like, obviously the objective is to get that victory of the round, right? But maybe we want to, when you start the round, list a few of objectives. Like, I don't want to get hit with any jump ins. Okay, great. So you start there. okay, now I want to turn their jump-ins into damage for me and focus on that. You're gonna lose. Believe me, I don't win in casuals basically ever. Okay, so that's it's all about maximizing your situations, and this goes in not just Third Strike but in real life. You have that practice time, you're playing with people, focus on more consistently hitting those objectives. Okay, tonight when I'm playing with guys, I'm going to focus on turning their jump into damage for me and never letting them get free pressure because I'm being really tentative with my low forward and my standing fierce punch. You know, if you can focus on those two objectives and practice those until they come natural, then you can move on to your next weak area. And because the other two things that you've done are you've practiced and have become more natural, now it's more easy to focus on, you know, that one more weak point that you have or something like that. Does that kind of help you in the way, like when you're playing, how to kind of make bigger impacts? You know, you might not be winning the casual practice match, but what you're doing is you're increasing your consistency in your weak points, and that's going to have way more greater dividends, you know, as time goes on, rather than like, oh, in this specific exact situation, when Makoto does this, you have to do zippity doodah SGGK tech. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not. That's not what's going to help you here.
Right.
So that's kind of how I would approach practicing and thinking about the match and etc. Keep going. Is there anything other that you particularly struggle with, matchup wise, player wise? What?
I just know that as far as what you were saying, as far as that info about like having certain goals against Elena, it definitely is helpful because I feel like a crap ton more comfortable against Makoto than against Elena because I never run into Elena really, but even then it's just like things just seem a lot more clear cut as far as just knowing I want to avoid Karakusa and then I guess having more practice with the setups and whatnot. But
for sure, you're right. It's just you have more matchup experience, right? But the cool thing about Urien is, in general, if you have a solid like game plan in the sense of I'm going to dictate the flow of the match, I'm going to be building meter the whole time, and then it doesn't matter what character it is. If you have 2 stocks of meter and you land your opening, it doesn't matter what character it is at that point, right? You know, Urien's going to be like, okay, it's time for me to shine, right? So even when you're not experienced in a matchup, having those objectives, at least having those objectives, maybe it's not character specific, right? But you hitting those objectives will still help you in that match, regardless of what character you're playing against. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I see it a lot. You know, as far as just like third strike players, is like you have that kind of, even if you have that rudimentary understanding, you know, like even if you don't have unblockables or anything, like, you know, you get in the corner, you lay down the ages, like maybe a sweet spot, or you lay it on top of them, like you impose your will, you get that meter, and you do what Urien does, you know, in general.
Right. I mean, embrace the scumminess, bro. Like, you could have 1 pixel alive and 2 stocks of meter, and you're like, bro, I just got to hit you once. You know what I mean? So that kind of mindset of like biding your time, waiting for your opening, and just kind of those objectives that you're trying to hit will naturally create a better situation for you, so those openings do present themselves more often. It's kind of like a nuanced thought and a nuanced like way to think, but really that's what helps in the biggest way is changing your mindset and your thought process of how you attack breaking down and winning the game. But yeah, is there anything else, or do you have like a specific like matchup that you struggle with, or a specific issue, or?
I mean, there's probably a lot of things I could name. Let's see. None that I could think like of urgently at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's and like I said, the specifics. That's that's kind of like icing on the cake, or like polishing your game, right?
Right.
The foundation is really what you want to be rock solid, because that's going to carry you. That's basically what carries top players to top 8 every tournament. Why is this guy in top 8 every tournament? Well, his foundation is strong as hell. Like, I might mess up an advanced combo or everything like that, but messing up one advanced combo versus having a bad foundation is way better. I'd rather mess up like an advanced combo versus letting someone run away with half the round because I'm letting them run away with silly things that are impacting me negatively. Anyway, yeah, man. I mean, it sounds like you have the right idea. I think it's just switching up your focus and what you're looking for differently. In general, I would just say throw more. On their wake up, throw them a lot. Throw them a lot, throw them a lot, throw them a lot.
Okay.
Number one, Urien's throws better than other characters, at least most of them. And it's hard. When I say better, it's just like maybe like stat-wise it's not better, but just it's somehow better. I don't know how to explain it, but it's
it sets up a lot of great situations.
It's just right, yeah. So throw. And the cool thing about that is if they're not taking throws, then you're like, this is what I'm going to abuse every round. This guy can't tech throws.
Yeah.
And if they do start to catch on to that, then you get to bide your time, wait for that with throw, and then apply your punish, etc. But anyway, throw more throws into your match, and early round when they don't have a lot of meter to punish with, loosen up a bit, throw out a light tackle, keep them awake and thinking, and don't let them just like autopilot on their game plan.
True.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. Don't let them get their stuff going. A lot of people, when they're like in their groove and like, God, this, he could be like, some random dude, but God, in that 10-second segment, he was like some kind of god, right? Because we let him get into his process and his like. In this situation, I just turn my brain off and go autopilot. It's important, especially as Urien, because you don't have a lot of like, oh, I'm just going to low forward super you all day, like Ken will be. So that's important to try to keep into your game plan. But yeah, other than that, man, I mean, like we could go on for hours, but I think that's like a good starting point. And of course, have any questions or I'm going to check something out, just hit me up on Twitter or something.
Okay.
Maybe in the future I'll travel again, even though I'm like old and crappy now, but maybe I'll see you around. What anything else to add? Any shout outs to Mama Crime Alley or something or what?
I'll be shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Detroit always, but shout out to Third Strike. Shout out to FGC. And also, I don't know if you remember Renic, but first, like I remember first time I saw you. This was I think I may have seen you at I think this was one of the only times, but I saw you at TFC 2017. This was, right, cool. The one that was like fucking stacked as shit. But I come up to you and I ask you about the Alex versus Chuntek. And you're just like, fuck out of here. Pretty
What?
much. It was
The Alex vs. Chen notes?
Yeah, like the fucking the mythical
Lord.
notes that never have been revealed, you know?
Oh, right, yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
I did a video for every character except Alex. My bad, I guess. It's never coming, so don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
But, well, hey, unfortunately, bro, I don't remember, but I'm not sober 100% of the time anyway, so,
Yeah.
you know, that's how it happens. Mutant, Daisuke. Hey, can you hear us? Hey, man. So we're
hey guys, yeah,
Hey.
we're here. We've been listening.
Okay, cool.
we
So
didn't-
we're kind of coming to a close.
Awesome.
And, as far as that goes, and I think we covered a lot of good stuff that, you know, of course there's infinite more things to cover, but that's a good starting base for Mr. Crime to start with.
Cool.
So, was there some more stuff you're doing or what?
Oh yeah, so basically, before we talk about the third segment, you know, I just wanted to just, you know, make a brief comment about the advice you gave to Crime, Ty. You know, one of the things that I kind of took away from, you know, what you were telling Crime is to, you know, just kind of like, you know, use the character sort of the way it was designed to be used, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and that's, I think, a big thing that I see in your gameplay, Crime. Like, you want to, like, it's like a good mindset, right? Like, yeah, you know, you want to play Street Fighter, you want to space, footsie, stuff like that. That's all really important. But you also have to remember who you're using, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're using Urien. You know, when Ty said throw more, you know, I immediately came back on the stream because, you know, just when I heard all that, I was like, what? Throw more? Yeah, that's right. but that's just Urien, you know? I think one of the reasons, I don't know if you would agree with this, Daisuke, but one of the reasons why Urien's throw is so scary is, like Ty said, like, if you look at, like, the math of Urien's throw,
Right.
it's not supposed to really be good.
Mm-hmm.
But why is it good? You know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do with all of the things that he can do aside from the throw. you
Right.
know?
Yeah. I mean, even like there is a like very good like a Urien like a instruction video in Japanese, which is actually by Rikimaru. Right. He was explaining how to play Urien, and then what he said was you can't see Urien's dash and then taku both at the same time, right? Because the like animation are so similar, and then when you are waiting for the tackle, and then if you want to parry it, you can get thrown by the dash throw, right? That's why his dash throw is so strong, and so that's a really important thing. Yeah,
and that's what I was saying to you.
Yeah,
right? the dash throw
really fast
is if you get that spacing down and get comfortable with that spacing, that's going to open up a lot of potential damage, and it's going to be using one of Urien's, better qualities.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Crime, for coming on the show. I hope that that was useful to you.
For sure.
Ty, and of course, Ty, shout outs to you for coming on. We're just going to ask you to stay for a few more minutes after the break. But like I said at the beginning of the stream, we're going to take just another quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have Daisuke and Ty kind of, wrap things up, talk a little bit about, what they discussed, and we'll preview the next show. But before we do that, guys, once again, please check out the Jazzy Circuit, the only nationwide Third Strike Gaming League. We got the Jazzy Circuit, smash.gg/the Jazzy Circuit. Tweet us. You can go to jazzycircuit.com if you would like to donate to the prize pool for the Jazzy Circuit finale. 100% of those monies go straight to the players for the finale. We had a ton of events. We had there was a tournament in your neck of the woods, Ty, right, last night? And so
yep.
So a lot of tournaments happened last night. Check out the VODs. Follow these streamers who are obviously contributing to Jazzy, by willing to stream all that stuff. Final round 2020. Remember, no on-site registration. Final round 2020 will be the site of the 5th and next Jazzy Circuit Auto Qualifier. That means whoever wins 3S singles at final round gets a complimentary airfare to this event, which is the Jazzy Circuit finale, which is going to emanate from the Free Play Arcade in Arlington, June 12th through 14th. 3 days, all third strike. We're going to have a 5v5 team tournament. We're going to have the last chance qualifier. Remember, there are 4 spots up for grabs at the finale itself. And then, of course, we'll have the 16-person finale. So definitely check that all out. Also, please be sure to follow Renic, man. Follow Ty. I've been putting it on the stream chat, but just follow him at Renic. And check out his YouTube video as well. What's your YouTube URL, Ty? Is it just like youtube.com/Renic or something?
Yeah, it's /Renic Gaming. One's
yeah, you can type it in the chat if you want. Yeah.
One's other stuff, but yeah, they'll just search it in YouTube. You'll find it.
Awesome. So once again, guys, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and wrap up the show. Don't go anywhere. More 3S Night School to come. Hey guys, Mutant XP, back on the mic, along with our host Daisuke, 3S Night School. So we're at the end of the very first episode, Daisuke. How did you feel about the show? By the way, guys, this is our first ever episode. This brand new concept, and thank you guys for sticking with us. You know, a few hiccups along the way, but hopefully we can get this streamlined. And I think the important thing is, Daisuke.
Yeah.
Hopefully, some people, and obviously we're here with Renic as well, Ty. Yeah, Daisuke, how'd you feel about the show today and the advice you gave to Knox? You know, can you tell us kind of like what you were sort of trying to accomplish there?
Yeah. So, first of all, obviously, thank you for watching, this show, guys. This was the very first trial for us, so I wouldn't say there was no struggle, but we tried our best. So hopefully it was informative and it was insightful, and maybe one thing I wanna mention like myself is I have like too many things I wanna like share, and so I might have packed too many things in one episode, which is my maybe homework for the next show. But
all of us have homework.
Oh yeah, I think so. So yeah, if it was a little bit confusing or like too much or even not so, I don't know, informative, just give me some feedback. But yeah, and then also like Renic's part was very concise, so yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, Ty. Yeah. I mean, tell us a little bit about that experience. I don't know if you've ever kind of. I mean, I'm sure you've helped countless players and you've given countless players advice, but in terms of just kind of breaking footage of a match down, live on stream, how did that kind of feel for you?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, to Daisuke's point, it is it is I try to keep it as concise and to the point, and go over the stuff that is going to have the maximum benefit for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's helpful, obviously. It's probably the second best thing. The next best thing would be literally playing against that person.
Yeah.
Side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that, but yeah, as good as we can get with the distance, right?
Yeah. I mean, another idea I kind of had for the show is really ultimately I was hoping, the sensei / senpai and the student could actually play one another online, but we all know online Third Strike is not always.
Well, you'll never see me online. It happens like once a year, and then I immediately regret it every time.
Yeah. So, hopefully, maybe one day we will get that magic port that everyone's waiting for with like perfect netcode and everything. But I digress. I'm glad that you enjoyed that, Ty. So, Ty, just real quick, just kind of wrap things up. I know you kind of. I know you tried to kind of summarize the advice you gave to Crime Alley, but, what are some of the things that you think, aspiring Urien players should really focus on?
Yeah, I mean, really, I think, when I play against a strong Urien, strong Uriens are the ones that they basically sit mid-screen while building meter and keeping me out. And then when that opening comes, they maximize their impact on that one opening, whether it's a knockdown or a parry or something like that. That is really the just mastering that kind of basic strategy. Sets the bar for, are you a good Urien or not good Urien? Right?
Yeah.
Because just executing that well causes a lot of problems for characters.
Yeah, I think another big challenge is how do you do that? Exactly what you said. How do you do that while keeping your opponent out, or at least minimizing the damage you have to take until you can get to that position?
Right, and that's where the mind comes into play the most. When you're practicing, you want to focus on naturally on practicing those objectives,
Mm-hmm.
so it becomes second nature.
Mm-hmm.
So when that is like I automatically do that now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can move on to the more advanced stuff, the more nuanced stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, dash up down parry or something,
Mm-hmm.
cool in third strike. But until you get that good foundation, the other stuff is harder. So once you get that good foundation down, then the other stuff will come more naturally.
Mm-hmm. And so Daisuke, you obviously work with Knox, someone that you've already been kind of working with.
Mm-hmm.
So what were some of the things, that you'd like to see, Makoto players sort of focus on and work on?
Yeah, so Makoto is a very, very like a little bit, unique character,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I would say she is more like more similar to like some 3D fighting games, right? Like Tekken or like VF, right? Because basically, her ultimate goal is getting in and then doing the repetitive, mix up, right? So she's very, very unique. So in that sense, I would say maybe you really understand your like options in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually what I wanted to explain today. That's why I made those charts, right? Which I will send to Knox and then some audiences, if you need it. But and then also like when you have to deal with Makoto's offense, you really need to understand her options. Otherwise, you can't, avoid her options. So that is maybe my point, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do want to preview the next show, but don't worry, Daisuke, you'll have an opportunity.
I know
to share more of your Makoto knowledge.
I know
because in the next show, for those of you who are wondering, our next show is going to be on March 8th, and so we're going to be trying to do this every other Sunday. And so our next episode is going to be Sunday, March 8th. And it's going to be a really special show, Daisuke, because, for the guest, our guest, I guess, 3S vet or guest teacher, we're going to have none other than Frankie BFG as our guest teacher. So that'll be awesome. And as far as the students go, we're actually going to have two up-and-coming Third Strike players from Chicago coming on the show. And so we're going to have Hologram Mike Ross, who I believe is a Goki main, as well as... I heard that chuckle. Hologram Mike Ross and 4C Joe, who's also Makoto main.
Oh, sure.
So you'll definitely have an opportunity to share more of that Makoto knowledge on the next show.
Yeah.
We got some questions in the chat, if you guys don't mind answering some of them before we get out of here. So shout outs to Colin Shotokan. And so on the chat he asked, quote, "How do both players keep composure or keep focus or refocus themselves when playing with the goal of improvement or in tournament instead of letting themselves get distracted by external things outside of the game or dwelling on past poor choices while playing?" So a pretty wide question, but Ty, do you want to start off? Maybe have some things.
I'm sure everyone's approach to, or answer to this is going to be a little different. Mine is basically your emotional intelligence or your emotional maturity, right? So it doesn't matter, just in Third Strike or in general. Oh, I stubbed my toe on my bed. Oh, I dropped my milk. Gosh darn it, I'm such a stupid guy. Like same kind of concept is that you kind of need to have that mindset of this is my mission and this is my objective, and I will only think about and house emotions that are beneficial to my cause. So when something bad does happen or something doesn't go your way, it takes practice, just like everything else, is that immediate recognizing that thought or that emotion, understanding that it does not serve your cause, and then immediately doing away with it. And that's life practice, not just Third Strike. You know, whether you get dumped by a girl or
a boy,
you know, we gotta consider mutant here. So,
okay.
No, but if you get dumped by a boy, girl, or attack helicopter, you gotta keep your mission and your kind of mindset in a condition that is beneficial to your cause.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times players overreact to their mistakes, to bad decisions, bad situations, and just sort of developing that ability to stay calm. Daisuke, do you have any kind of specific things?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I know. First of all, I totally agree with Tai. So whenever I see like players are kind of like giving up during the match, like especially when they make some mistakes, they are kind of overreacting and stop playing sometimes, right? Or at least definitely they stop thinking, and then they are kind of sticking with their mistakes. But I wanna say, have you ever seen the players never make a mistakes? Like even when we are thinking about the Japanese top players, I do think everybody, makes some mistakes at some point.
Well, yeah, because then if everyone was perfect, no one would play this game.
Right?
No one would play any game.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm not sure if this is the answer to this question, but I think, first of all, maybe, you shouldn't care about your mistakes or, even your, loss or, whatever. You just, need to be objective. As Tai said, and I like the word mission, right? So according to him, I understand maybe third strike is almost life. So
Oh yeah,
right. Third strike is life. So don't give up and just focus on the maybe objectives of the day or objectives of at the tournament. Like maybe I think whether you win or lose maybe isn't a maybe big deal at the end of the day, right? So
yeah, I mean maybe I could share a story that I think is kind of related to Colin's question. When I in the first and last time I went to Japan for Cooperation Cup, I competed, and my one of my teammates actually recorded everything. Recorded all our matches or most of our matches.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And interestingly enough, so I was watching the matches back, like the footage of the matches, and then I was immediately entertained because, especially during my matches, because like there was so much hype surrounding me. And there was so many, like, all the things that were being said and all the comments and all the excitement. But, like, that was new to me when I was watching the VOD. You know what I mean? Because I didn't hear any of, like, well, I mean, I heard that, but I didn't recognize. Like, do you get what I'm getting at, right? Like, so to me, that shows me that I was able to kind of focus.
Yeah.
Just on what was in front of me. Like, I had no idea what anyone was saying around me.
That's really cool.
And, I don't have a kind of magic answer to tell you guys how to develop that, I think you're right, Tai, that everyone has to kind of figure out what works best for them, what's going to keep them focused. But that's the key, right? How do you stay focused? How do you zero in 100% on kind of what's happening on the screen? And
some people have a ritual. Some people.
Yeah, some people have ritual. Yeah, true.
Some people meditate. Some people, before they go, they eat a certain meal that they feel gives them like a good energy or whatever, or just they don't eat something big and filling, so they're not. It's just. Do yourself a favor and do things that help you yourself get into a general good mind state. It can be outside of the game and inside of the game.
Yeah. And one more question here. So Herb Durkin asks, Is it okay to work on them? Okay, so I think he's talking about in relation to advanced tactics and foundation. I think this is mainly a response to your advice, Ty. So Herb Durkin asks, is it okay to work on both advanced tactics and foundation? Kind of like leg day, upper day, another day, or is there like, is it linear or how does that work?
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course you can do that, right? But I mean, when you look at your match, right? Did you really lose because you didn't hit that one advanced combo, or did you lose because 5 times he jumped in on you and all that happened was you blocked it, right? Like, so yes, of course you can work on both, but I mean, what one is going to serve you better? What's going to have a greater impact of you being better at, right? Mm-hmm. So of course, but that you kind of want to understand what is going to help you the most by mastering it first.
You have any
response? Again, I totally agree. So there are so many options, that you can do in the game. But maybe, some are really, some have really big impact, and then others maybe don't have so big impact. So maybe you have to calculate which one can, help you a lot, right? And then you have to maybe focus on those things first, right? And then one more thing I want to emphasize through this show is defense is too underestimated.
Oh, defense is top, like, you're right, Daisuke, yes.
Right? So, so it was unfortunate I couldn't have enough time to explain defense, right? And then there are some urban myth in this term, right? Because somebody said, maybe you shouldn't do crouch tech, you should do guard jump, you should do parry jump, whatever. But I want to ask you guys, do you guys really understand defense? I don't think so. I do never think so. I would say maybe only 10 people or 15 people understand defense in the States. I think I might be a little bit jerk, but yeah.
All right.
Like my student mutant, he's really bad at defense.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, so I think think about the defense is very, very important. I wanted to explain the defense mechanics today, so maybe I'm gonna leave it to the next show or next show.
Well, yeah, because we're gonna have 4C Joe on as a Makoto player.
Yeah.
Obviously defense is something. I mean, it's just I think it really is a mentality, right? Like it's just Third Strike is just not that game. Like you cannot you just have to develop this understanding that you just can't press whatever the fuck you want. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I don't know how else to say it. I guess that's why you guys are the teachers, not me. But
one thing I wanna say is if you are you just started this game or you are still intermediate level player, forget about parry, right? Just block, which is super easy. You can just hold back and then you can block, right? You don't need to bet on 50-50 or something, just block, right? And then I will explain the mechanics, in depth in the next show or next show. So yeah, let's get better, with your defense and the fundamentals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your homework for the until at least the next episode, guys, is think long and hard about what it means to defend in Third Strike. Right? Think about what it takes to have a good defense in Third Strike. So Ty, thank you so much for coming on the show. Hopefully you'll be open to come back, and spit some more knowledge.
Of course. I mean, I'm everyone's favorite teacher, so I'll come back. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just messing. But yeah, no, it was fun. And Daisuke, you got to come out to Phoenix so we can party and play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wanna go there. My life is basically having so many travels, all over the states. So and then one of my bucket list is going to Arizona. So I have to go there.
And so notice he invited you, but he didn't invite me. But that's okay. I get it, Ty. I got you.
I noticed.
I got you. It's all right, Ty. It's all right.
You're a Neko player. It's just not gonna happen.
We don't need 3 of them over there. All right. Well, shout outs to the Necro players that are in Arizona, Faka, and who else? It was Too Tall. Gosh, if I had it all back, I would not pick Necro. But bless you guys for choosing Necro. He's an interesting character. But anyway, remember, guys, our next show is going to be in 2 weeks. Next Sunday, March 8th.
Yep,
We're going to have Frankie BFG as our guest teacher. And then on the show, we're going to have 2 Chicago players. Cool. We're going to have 4C Joe and Hologram Mike Ross. Cool. So once again, guys, if you like the show, definitely subscribe to my channel or follow my channel. Follow Daisuke on Twitter. Follow myself on Twitter. Follow Ty on Twitter. Follow the Jazzy Circuit on Twitter.
Yeah.
We're trying to make Third Strike. We're trying to bring Third Strike to the masses. Mm-hmm. It's such a sick game. And so, on behalf of everyone on the show, thank you guys for tuning in to 3S Night School, and we will see you guys next time.
Yep. Thanks, guys. See you.
See ya. Bye bye.